Hello, and thank you for joining us here on the Neutral Zone. I'm Eric Dalala, joined as always by my partner in crime, my trusty sidekick. Really, the best way to describe this person is my everything. It's at Phil Milani.
Eric, thanks for having me on today.
Hey, no problem. This is how we do it every week, and it's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. I'm here to just give everybody my expert opinion, and of course, I'm right about everything, so I'm happy to be here.
And I'm just here to be really overly emotional and get loud when I feel like I'm right about something.
Ready. I want to talk about DVOA.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, for the next 2 hours, we'll be talking DVOA. So
is that it? We can go longer.
Buckle up.
All right. Well, Phil, why don't you tell us what we got in store today?
Eric, that just didn't feel right.
No,
I don't know.
It didn't.
I thought it was funny. I barely kept it together.
Yeah. What was funny to you?
No, it just felt funny. Yeah, it was just, but it was good.
That's how we do this every week.
My favorite part might have been the countdown. 3, 2,
2.
That's how I always count us in.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a great show in store for everybody today. Just trying to keep you on your toes because, you know, when you're facing a team like the Lions, maybe there's not all the different angles to talk about this week. So we had to do something to just keep NZ Nation on their toes.
How many Lions players do you think you could name?
Jared Goff.
Uh-huh.
Matt Prater's not there anymore, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah. Swift.
Yeah, you know a first name or no?
Swift. And then
Swift. They got Godwin Igwebuike. You ever heard of him? Former Northwestern Wildcat.
Really? He's a Cats guy.
Yeah. Cat guy.
He's a Cats guy.
Yeah.
Cats. Okay, I think he's a Lions. So, Cats.
Wildcats to Lion.
To Lion.
I like that.
Yeah, a lot of Cats.
They got some other guys on their team, too.
Yes, this team is much better than the 1-10-1 record that they come into Denver with.
Yeah, a lot of one-possession losses, a lot of games that they've been really close in.
Eric, the Broncos lost to the Ravens pretty handedly.
Yep.
The Lions, it took like a 75-yard field goal from the Ravens to beat them.
That was the week before the Ravens played the Broncos.
Yeah. And so
we were like, the Ravens are very beatable. They were not.
They tied the Steelers.
With a backup quarterback.
Yep. They tied the Steelers.
No, they're a decent football team. The Broncos need to take them seriously.
They almost beat the Bears on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That would have been special for them, I think.
It would have been nice.
Yeah. Eric, I'm curious, just before we dive into our normal topics here, what do you think about the tie? You know, the 1-10-1.
Oh, not like a suit tie.
1-10-1. Well, I know you like a suit tie.
I'm a big bow tie guy.
I know you are. I'm not really into that.
I think you don't enjoy a tie, but I can understand why they're necessary.
I got no problem with them.
This is not college football where, you know, it's school children playing against each other. Like, you got to – what, you think that's funny?
Yeah,
they're in school.
Yeah.
And they're not – some of them are not 21 yet, so they're still technically children.
Oh, is that when you become not a child?
Yep, that's when you become not a children. No, I'm joking, but I do think in college football you can go the 6, 7, 8 overtimes. The overtime format is different.
Yeah.
But in the professionals, when everyone's, you know, huge and you're playing with grown men out
Grizzled.
there. Exactly. Yeah. I like Dan Campbell was talking to the media today. He called people salty. You know.
Yeah, he said the Broncos have a salty defense.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. He gives a tremendous soundbite.
He does. I enjoyed speaking with him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think there's a safety element of the tie.
Course.
Like, you can't have those guys out there forever unless it's a playoff game, in which case you play on.
That is true. But if you, after 5 quarters of football and you're still tied, it's fine. You guys, on this day, you're equal.
It does throw a wrench into the whole playoff.
It does.
Standings.
I just don't like having to say 1-10-1.
Well, and the Steelers,
I just don't like that.
I think the Steelers are 6-1, if I remember correctly. Or maybe 6-5-1.
6-5-1. Yeah.
But for some reason, that's better than being
the loss column is. Yeah, that's more.
That's
important.
better than being 7-6 or something like that, or 6 and I don't. Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Are you feeling okay?
if the Steelers are seriously in the playoff hunt at the end of the year, it's going to make me upset.
It's going to be very
just because of the tie.
Just because of the tie, yeah. But I got no problem with a tie. But some people out there, they're like, a tie is un-American. That's what they say. They say it's kind of like kissing your sister.
These unnamed people
That's
say.
what they say.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I
don't have no problem with it. It's not bad to me. You know,
I could take what you're saying and then translate it to
kissing my sister.
Yeah.
I don't even have a sister, so
you're like, I got no problem with that either.
I don't have a sister.
Perfect.
I don't.
I believe you.
Yeah, and that's not what I was trying to say.
But if you did.
No, that's not what I was trying to say. I was just saying, after you've played for that long and you're tied, you're equal. And just move on.
Exactly.
That's
no one needed to see the Lions and the Steelers play any more football that day.
Correct. And they didn't want to play it probably anymore. No. So they had enough.
Correct.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
I think the Lions.
Yeah, I think so too.
We haven't even said what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about coming off this Chiefs loss for the Broncos. Do you think it's good that they're playing a team like the Lions, or would you rather go on and face the Bengals immediately?
Ooh, that's an
a team like
question.
that, a team like, and maybe a division opponent, somebody that you get up naturally a little bit more for, or would you rather face a team like the Lions that the Broncos should be an overwhelming favorite this week, even though the Lions are playing some better football recently?
Pros and cons to each, I think.
Yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit too. And then this Broncos team, what can we learn about them this weekend? Not a lot of matchup angles here to talk about with the Lions. What are we going to find out about this team? Because we have seen them after losses come back and play pretty well.
Yeah.
Coming off the Eagles loss, there was a bye week, and then they played really well against the Chargers.
Yeah.
We've also seen them play
4-game losing
bad.
streak.
Yeah, we've also seen them play bad after losses.
Yeah.
What are we going to learn this weekend about them?
Yeah, I think that's more about, the Lions are probably in that caliber of Jaguars, Jets, maybe Giants. And so during that 3-game win streak, people said, well, you don't really know anything about this team. So
what about now?
Can you learn anything from
I think so
a game?
now, yeah. I do think so at this point in the season.
Yeah.
We heard Justin Simmons on Wednesday say this was a must-win game.
I agree with him.
I think that anytime you're facing a must-win game, the way the team comes out and plays, you're going to learn something there.
Yep.
So we'll get into that. We'll have bold predictions, Eric.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we'll also have an email.
Yep.
Our friend John Jornad sent a nice email in. A really nice email.
Nice
actually.
email.
Yeah. And then also maybe some voicemails.
Could be really nice.
AJ made the cut.
He toned it down.
He made the cut this week.
Yeah.
Still a little delusional.
That's
But he made the cut.
He's a fan of Teddy Bridgewater. He supports his guy.
He is. He's a supporter.
He is.
That's what for like the English Premier League, it's like you're a supporter. A supporter of.
Yeah.
He's a supporter of Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say. We mentioned Dan Campbell there off the top. When he was introduced, he said that the Lions were going to take on the personality of the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. Detroit's a blue-collar.
Gritty.
Yeah, exactly. He said that when you punch us in the face, we're going to have a smile. And then he said that when you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to take a bite out of a kneecap.
Yeah.
What did you think about that
I loved it.
Yeah.
People get really worked up, Phil, including us at times, because you're like, I want the Broncos to win. I want them to go to the playoffs.
But it's still a sport.
It's a game. Like, there are people's livelihoods at stake, so it's obviously more important than just a game.
Our livelihoods.
Yes.
Although the wins and losses don't directly
we get more clicks when there's wins.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
More podcast comments.
Yeah, more listeners.
But I enjoy that, like, some people recognize, hey, we're trying to have fun here.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of like biting a kneecap on your way up? Is that common?
I've never done it.
That's like something I would say.
Yeah.
Where I kind of mess up a saying or something.
Exactly.
And then
you're like, you just got to take a bite out of that one kneecap at a time.
One kneecap at a time, and you're going to
keeps the doctor away. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. if you can't take the heat, just take a bite out of the kneecap.
Yeah.
That's what
you would say.
Yeah, but Eric, in the office, we were talking like if you had to take a bite out of something, like on your way out, like say you're in an altercation and you had to take a bite out of something. I don't think kneecap is like the first thing you would. It would be hard to take a bite out of a kneecap.
No, yeah, like a finger probably.
A little easier.
Yeah,
but
elbow.
Yeah,
maybe go right for like vampire style.
Shoulder. Yeah.
I don't know.
Hip. Probably can't take a bite out of it.
No, probably not.
No. So we'll have to see. What.
Should probably stop there.
Yeah. No more biting. I think we're done. Should we get into our first topic?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Let's get should we tell people how they can be a part of the show?
If they want to be.
Yeah. Do you want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
I think that you can if you'd like to. If you'd like, let us know what you think about kneecap biting.
Yeah. And Phil's opinion on ties.
707 neutral.
That's
leave
right.
a voicemail.
Or you can leave an email at neutralzoneshow@gmail.com.
That's what John Jornad likes to do.
Yep, and we will potentially
We'll read
read
that?
it if Ben
this?
Swanson
Forwards him.
allows us to.
He kind of is the gatekeeper when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So he reviews it
Takes copious
meticulously.
notes.
Yeah. And then he allows.
That's a good word, meticulously. Nice.
Yeah. Which word did you just use?
Copious?
Copious. Nice.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Copious. Wow.
You know what that means?
Yeah, like if somebody close to you dies, you have to take some copious time. Coping. No.
That's not right.
That's not what it means?
That's
No,
not
no,
right.
got it. Okay. You can also directly contact us.
Yeah, on Twitter, right?
Yeah. At Eric Dalala with an A.
That's right.
At Phil Milani with a PH.
That's also right.
Non-traditional spellings. Philip.
PH.
F.
Yeah.
F-I-L normally, but
For
PH.
you, PH. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also if you're watching on YouTube, just smash the subscribe button.
Smash it.
Smash that. And then also comment.
Yes.
We read all the comments.
We love the comments.
Eric, I was very surprised. I had a haircut last week. Nobody
noticed. I noticed.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Nobody else commented.
What are we doing here?
Shocking.
What are we doing here?
Okay, let's get into our first topic here on this episode of the Neutral Zone, and that is, do you like the fact that on the schedule after the Chiefs game, the Broncos have the Lions coming up next?
Yeah, I mean, there's two kind of schools of thought here, right? You could say, oh, we want to play the Lions because it should be an easier matchup. You, on paper, have the advantage here in a lot of different areas, defensively, on offense, probably in the kicking game too. So you say, okay, well, we can, we just had a tough game. Let's build up our confidence again. Let's get back in it. It's kind of like in college how you have some kind of like build up games before your toughest matchup. So that's one kind of way to look at it. And the other is that, hey, we've just lost this game. We want to prove to ourselves that we're really good. Let's go play a team like the Bengals, like the Chargers that's right in it. Let's beat them and prove to ourselves that, hey, we're just as good as these guys, that we're still in it. That was an off day for us because in one sense, with the Lions, you're just kind of assuming you can get back in the win column, and that helps build confidence. But the other way to build confidence is by beating a good team. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that beating the Lions necessarily builds your confidence that, like, hey, we can go beat the Bengals now. But granted, given where this team is, what it needs the rest of the way, I do like having the Lions here, being able to get a win, just kind of get some things figured out, work on some things, work on yourself, Phil. Sometimes you hear in
self-care.
You hear in like a romantic comedy that you got to love yourself first.
That's true. Before you can love someone else.
Broncos got to love themselves before they can make the playoffs.
I think that's a nice comparison.
Yeah.
I think so. Of course, the Broncos are playing the Lions because it's part of this new 17th game.
Yeah.
The Broncos facing the AFC. The AFC West is facing the NFC North, and then the matchups are from where you finished in the division last year.
Yes.
So that's why the Broncos are playing the Lions, in case you're wondering, where the heck did this come from? And I think that, Eric, in this league, it's such a week-to-week thing. Broncos beat the Chargers, feeling really good. The Broncos lose to the Chiefs, feeling really bad. So I don't think it matters if you get a win this Sunday, who it's against. you start to feel good again. And I think that the scary thing is, Eric, is that you can't get overconfident.
Yep.
You can't just assume, okay, this Lions team, they only have one win. The Broncos are going to beat them, and then they'll feel good. I think that is the challenge this week is Vic Fangio, the rest of the coaching staff really need to communicate to the Broncos, look, we're not first in the division. It was a tough game against the Chiefs. We've got to put that in the back of your mind, move forward. Everything the Broncos still want is in front of them. They just have to win these games and start taking care of business, and that starts with the Lions. So I think that the challenge this week is communicating that and still believing there's a lot to play for.
Yeah, and I think the fact that you have to win 4 of these last 5 games. I mean, if you win all 5, you're going to be in. But if you win 4 of the last 5, it's likely that you're in. And so if you beat the Lions here, then you need to win 3 of your last 4. To me, that seems a little bit less of a difficult. Exactly. Daunting. Whereas if you say you played the Bengals or the Chargers this weekend and you lost, say it comes down to the end, you lose. Now you're in a situation, hey, we got to win all 4 of these in a row. That, to me, seems more difficult. I know that you're still playing the same teams at some point, but to be able to get another win, not let the kind of losses stack up and have people say, oh, no, we're out of it now. Like this keeps the buy-in, I think, because you would move above 500 again. You'd have a chance to come home against Cincinnati, move to 8-6. I mean, with a win here, I think you still you start believing, you start understanding that, like you said, Phil, everything is still in front of us. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with getting a little confidence from a win, like you said, no matter who it's against. So I do like that the Lions are here. And Phil, we talked about it. I liked the Lions were here even if the Broncos won.
Yeah.
Because I think had you come back and played a Cincinnati, that's a spot for a letdown game.
Don't want to have a letdown.
I think the Broncos, based on their attitude during media this week, out at practice on Wednesday when we saw them before we recorded this, they know that if they go out and take care of business, they should be able to get a win. They called it a must-win. I think they have the right mindset.
Yeah, and we always hear Vic Fangio say all of these count the same. It doesn't matter who you're facing. But I think that Vic's real goal is going to have to be to motivate these guys this week, not to let them sort of drag their feet into this game. And I think that he's aware of that too because, Eric, you mentioned practice right before we were recording this. Typically after the Broncos stretch, they get together and a player will just say, let's have a good practice, guys. All right, Broncos on 3 or whatever, something like that. On Wednesday, it was Vic who broke the team down. And you couldn't quite make out everything that he was communicating, but I think that the gist of it was don't let yourself get caught up in playoff standings and all this other stuff. Let's focus on this Lions team. And if the Broncos play like the Broncos are capable of playing, should get a win.
Yeah, and you should be able to take care of business down the stretch. And
yeah.
You look at it, Phil, we're down to 5 games for some teams, 4 games for other teams. There are a few games left on every team's schedule that are tough games, that are 50-50 games. I would argue the Broncos have 4 of those left.
4 50-50 games and then also Lions.
And then also Lions. But there are games on every team's schedule that are kind of games you should win, and you've got to hold serve in those games in order to make those other games more important. And, there are teams that this week will have challenging contests. I mean, I think the Bengals have to go and play the 49ers I think it's in Cincinnati, but not an easy opponent necessarily. The Chargers, I believe, have to go to New York, and they've got some people on the COVID list. So these are games where if you hold serve against Detroit, you could see yourself improve in the playoff standings just based on what other teams do. The Steelers play the Vikings in Minnesota on Thursday Night Football. If the Steelers lose there, that helps the Broncos.
It opens the door.
At this point in the season, it's also about what other teams are doing. And if you can take care of your own business and kind of – like one of the things I've always appreciated about the Patriots, Phil.
Consistent.
Well, not just consistent. They never make mistakes that lose games. They just kind of do what they need to do, and other teams make these mistakes where you're like, you can't do that to beat the Patriots. But you can't do that because they never make those mistakes. They never make these like critical errors, and I think I kind of view that as something that the Broncos need to focus on this weekend is don't make the critical mistakes that would force you to lose this game.
Yeah.
take care of your business and let everything else around you kind of happen.
Holding serve, that's what you do at the country club, right?
Exactly.
Every Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah, that's
when
when
you
the
go down
ladder
there
is.
and
Yeah.
you hold serve. That's right. Yeah. No, I agree, Eric. One thing that I was thinking about this week was, who's going to dictate the terms of play here this week? Because I think when you play the Chiefs, we talked about this ad nauseum last week and earlier this week, the notion of you can't score field goals, you got to score touchdowns is always prevailing, and you feel like you're up against this juggernaut and you've got to change the way you play to match that. Well, I think in a matchup like this, the Broncos should be the ones who are really dictating how this game is played, and I think that's going to be important right off the bat to just say, look, the Broncos on paper are a better team. We're going to dictate how everything's going, and then that's how this Sunday's going to go. I think that's important in a matchup like this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I think you and I are both in favor of playing a team like the Lions. Sometimes they say that's a get right type of game.
Yeah, I think that.
But I don't want to be disrespectful to this Lions team because they are
they play
playing
hard.
much better. They play really hard. And we heard Teddy Bridgewater on Wednesday, who has a relationship with Dan Campbell from their time together in New Orleans. It's just say that those guys, they love playing for him, and you get fired up when you listen to one of his speeches. He said that he would leave a meeting room and want to go punch someone in the face.
Yeah, that's intense.
Did you get nervous after that? Because you're like, I better not ask.
Better stay away from Teddy.
Don't ask a hard question or something.
Yeah, don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah, but Dan Campbell's not around here, though.
No, that's true.
So you're probably safe.
Well, I think the big thing, too, is you've got to serve at home.
Yep.
You talk about the Lions, but just at home, you probably can't lose. Well, you have to go at least 2-3. And I'd like to think that you've got a chance at home against the Chiefs in Week 18.
I would certainly think
Obviously, some things have got to go better, but based on the way the defense played, you hope if the offense can get things figured out a little bit that you've got a chance to make that a close game. And so win your home games, and then if you could split on the road against the Chargers and Raiders and win your 3 home games, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And so this is the start to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think.
You would think. So we'll see what happens here when they kick things off on Sunday at Empower Field at Mile High. Let's get on to our second topic here on the Neutral Zone, and that is, what will we learn this Sunday about this Broncos team?
Yeah, I do think you have to kind of take everything with a grain of salt a little bit because each matchup is different, right? Like we saw the Broncos play really well defensively against the Chargers, and that translated to the Chiefs game, but we saw them move the ball, be really efficient on third down, be better in the red zone, and that didn't translate to Kansas City. So you've got to understand that some of this stuff is a matchup-to-matchup type situation.
Of course, we saw Justin Herbert go out there and light up the Bengals.
Yeah.
He couldn't do much of anything against the Broncos a week earlier.
Right. But I do think in this game, what I'm looking for is the defense able to continue its dominance? Because really over the last few weeks, Phil, they've been really, really good. They were good against Patrick Mahomes. They were really good against Justin Herbert. The Eagles game, anytime they've played a mobile quarterback, that's been
much tougher.
An issue, but that's not the case this week with Jared Goff. That's true. And then you look back to the Cowboys game and against Washington and Taylor Heineke, and Heineke's had a decent season. So you look back and you say, really, like the last 4 or 5 games, 4 of the last 5, this defense has been really good. Can they continue that? If Bradley Chubb plays, he's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder, can he start to get that pass rush going? Just more of the same from the defense. And then offensively, have they found a way, whether it's schematically, whether it's execution, to get Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick involved? I don't need those guys to each have 100 yards, but it'd be nice. But the fact that they've been so uninvolved is a little bit concerning. And so find some ways to get them involved, even if it's in a creative way, because you're going to need the best from Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and Jerry Jeudy down the stretch. So I'd like to see this weekend them find a way to get those guys involved.
Yeah, I mean, those are very specific things. In my mind, I'm looking bigger picture here. Just when they come out there, I'm wondering is this team still buying into the messaging? That's one thing that I want to see is that does Vic have these guys ready to go motivationally wise? Because I do think it'll take some of that. And if you really believe that this, if this team really believes that the playoffs are still realistic for them, they should come out here and right off the bat take care of business.
Yeah.
Send a message pretty early in this game that, hey, we're not messing around today. I think that's what I'm wondering. Are they still buying into the belief? Is the messaging really getting through? That's one thing. And then offensively, is this team capable of using the talent properly? It's tough sometimes when you're facing a team like the Chiefs. Talented defense. They get a lot of pressure up front. They take away things that maybe you're trying to do. This is an opportunity, I feel like, for this Broncos team to really say, look, we want to establish the run, but we know that eventually we got to get these playmakers the ball more often. Like Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, these guys need to be issues for opposing defenses, And I think that, look, if we're smart enough to figure that out, of course Pat Shurmur is. Do you know what I mean? So, he knows that he's got this talent and that he's got to figure out a way to use him. I want to see, okay, how does that come about? Vic was asked a lot this week, what's going on offensively? What's happening? And he says, we just got to score more points. And then he was pressed on that issue a little bit more, and he didn't really get into it too much, specifically, this is what needs to happen. I think that we need to find out, how are the Broncos going to dictate terms of play and say, we have got Cortland Sutton, we're going to use Cortland Sutton, and it's going to be a problem for our opposing team. You dictate the terms of play. I want to see that this week.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's too often you get into these matchups where you've got to adjust. Let's just line up and play and make them feel the talent this team has. That's what I like. When Peyton was here, other teams were like, how are we going to deal with Peyton Manning?
Right.
So much so this year it's been the other way around. How are we going to how are the Broncos going to deal with Tyrann Mathieu, or how are they going to deal with Frank Clark or Chris Jones or whatever? And then it's you just adjust so much, and then you say, we got to go for it on fourth down a bunch, and we got to score these touchdowns, and you're the one adjusting. Well, let's make the Lions adjust a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that's what I want to see is, does this team really believe, and then offensively, can they get it going?
Yeah, I mean, both of those things are musts for the final stretch of the season. If you don't have the belief in the locker room that you can do it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel I really do. I'm not sure that it will, but I certainly have the belief that they can win 4 of these next 5. If they play at their potential, they can beat the Lions, but they can beat the Bengals at home. They can go beat a Raiders team that put a couple people on IR today that's obviously had a really tumultuous season.
Yes.
They've beaten the Chargers, and then you kind of see what happens against the Chiefs if you even need that one. If you win the next 4,
you might
not even need the Chiefs game. So that's important, like you said, the buy-in. And then offensively, if they could just move up to if they could just score 24 in each of these games the rest of the way, it'd probably be enough.
Yeah.
They just got to find a way to do that, and we've talked about it, Phil. I don't know how much you can change at this point in the year. It might be this is what you're going to get, and it's you might just have 3 or 4 red zone possessions per game, and you just got to be really good when you're there. You got to go 3 for 4 when you're down there, because I don't know that all of a sudden you're going to have 7 possessions in the red zone the way that some teams do. I just think that it's possible. At this point, they're going to continue they might be able to mesh Vic Fangio's used the word, you got to marry the pass game and the run game. He's used that a few times. I think they're still going to lean on the run game and control time of possession, 4 5-minute drives, 6 minutes. I don't know if we'll see another 11-minute drive, but
let's hope not, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah. But I think you've got to recognize that that's who this team is. They're going to rely on the run game. They're going to do a little bit of play action, but you just got to connect on a few more of those deep plays, and that opens things up. It changes everything. And if they can do that, they can score the points they need. But this weekend, Phil, even if, because I can already see the reaction. The Broncos win this game, and people outside the building say, okay, well, it was the Lions.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know, they can say what they would like to say.
A win is a win.
Broncos get a win, and internally they can say, okay, well, this worked on offense. Let's keep going with this. This worked on defense. Let's keep going with this. Let's adjust these things that didn't work. There's value, even if this isn't a win that you're going to look back on the end of the year and say that was their best win of the season.
Of course, I think that you got to win however you can win.
Yep.
All you can do is play the team that line up in front of you. The interesting thing offensively is we might find out a few things here, just like will they use Javonte more or Melvin? You know, now that Melvin returned to practice on Wednesday, what's that situation going to be like? Because Melvin had been getting the bulk. It's been very 50-50, but Melvin maybe a slight edge previous to this.
I think he had about
game.
30, 40 more carries, something like that.
Yeah, over the course of
the season.
Of the year, yeah. And then the other thing is, can the Broncos figure out how to use Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy here? Because when they've played in games together, it hasn't quite.
Can you get Jerry in the end zone? He doesn't have a touchdown this year.
Doesn't have a touchdown,
Courtland Sutton only has 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I mean, they have not been in the end zone, especially recently, very much through the air.
It's almost like if you got 2 guys at one position, you can't really go all in behind that. It's kind of like Noah Fant and Albert O.
Yeah.
Vic was asked about that, today, and he said Noah's still the starter here. But sometimes when you've got 2 guys like right there, it just makes things a little bit.
I think
more
it's better
sensitive.
it's good for the offense, or it should be. It's not necessarily good for like Pro Bowl cases.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, but I'm saying like even offensively, sometimes when you have a weapon and that's your weapon, you can kind of design everything around that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you've got other things at play here, maybe that's some of that's going on. They're going to have to figure out a way to use all these guys together.
Yep.
Because I do think the bottom line is that the Broncos, offensively, much more talented than they showed against the Chiefs.
Yes, I agree.
So. Eric, let's get into our third section of the show here, and that's bold predictions.
Ooh.
Bold predictions.
Okay. Let's say that. What do I want to do here? Do I want to go receive? Well, yeah, we'll say that Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton both get in the end zone.
Oh,
all this talk about how
Okay.
They haven't been able to do that. I'll say both of them get in the end zone.
Both get in there.
Yeah.
Wow. That is pretty bold.
Yeah.
I'll say that despite Javonte's amazing game last week, Melvin still gets more carries than Javonte.
Okay.
Melvin
Is that bold?
Gordon will have more carries.
He's
Did you see the reaction?
He's a starting running back.
I think that he got some Hall of Fame votes, Javonte did last week.
Gosh.
I think that he did.
It's the smart play, in my opinion, to have Javonte and Melvin keep splitting carries.
So do I.
You don't want to run Javonte into the ground here.
No, especially it's his rookie season.
Yeah.
I think that normally he'd be done playing football for at least a month right now. Do you know what I mean? He'd have a little bit of a break, but it's almost bowl season.
Yeah.
So
does UNC go to those? They don't really go to those very often.
Well, I think recently.
With Javonte, maybe they did.
Yeah.
But historically.
Do we know anybody who went to UNC?
Javonte.
That's it, though, right?
Yeah, that's
just Javonte.
Just Javonte.
Yeah, I think that's right. Just Javonte. So, but I do think that there is a case to be made that, Javonte had this sensational game. He's been a really, really impressive as a rookie this whole year. Let's just keep giving him the ball. I still think Melvin Gordon back in the lineup, he's going to have more carries than Javonte. There's even some out there who think that Mike Boone needs a lot more carries.
Yeah, only so many plays to go around here.
Yeah, that's it. So let's get a defensive, bold prediction.
I'll say the Broncos have 5 sacks of Jared Goff.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty bold.
I think the Broncos get a lead. Detroit's going to have to throw it a little bit.
Okay.
You got Bradley Chubb if he can play, Malik Reed, Jonathan Cooper, Draymond Jones is kind of coming on.
Yeah.
I think 5 sacks.
5 sacks.
Of Jared Goff.
Would that be the most this season for the Broncos?
I think they had 5 another time. Maybe they got to Heineke 5 times or something.
Maybe something like that, yeah. The pass rush is going to be interesting this offseason, what they do.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely a position of...
Bradley Chubb under contract, but Malik Reed is a restricted free agent.
That's going to be
you
an
might
interesting
need
position.
a number 1 guy, depending on what you think Bradley Chubb is capable of.
I do think that, this offseason we heard George Payton say pass rush and secondary.
Yep.
I would say the secondary's been very good.
Yep.
The pass rush, a little lacking in that area.
They've been actually pretty good in like total number of sacks.
Yeah, but a lot of that is like different
to
guys along that front four and like maybe some coverage stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of plays where a guy just whoops out a tackle and gets around the edge and boom, it's a sack.
No, I don't know if anybody has more than like 5 sacks.
That just hasn't happened a lot.
Yeah.
It's been like the quarterback gets to the back of his drop step and then surveys a little more, maybe moves around and then gets sacked. Yeah. It's not boom, sack. So I do think there's an area there. How about I say Surtain gets his 5th pick of the season.
Another one.
3 games in a row.
Wow.
Right now, Surtain 4 is tied for 3rd most ever by a Broncos rookie.
Yep. And he's 2nd among AFC cornerbacks in picks.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Which to me suggests Pro Bowl.
Ooh.
Because I think he was 2nd going into the Chiefs game in pass defenses.
Yeah. So if he maybe gets 1 or 2 more down the stretch, you would think.
I think he's probably already in.
Pretty close.
Like if he
because voting is
going on right now.
Yeah.
Enough coaches have he's part of the Pro Bowl issue. Like to get in the Pro Bowl, you need name recognition.
Being a first round pick,
Pat Surtain has had name recognition. He's viewed as probably the best defensive player coming out of college. I mean, Micah Parsons has probably solidified himself as defensive rookie of the year, but Pat Surtain got more conversation because he played his last year in Bama. Yeah. So I think there's a good chance that J.C. Jackson from New England, maybe Xavier Howard, but I think Pat Surtain. I think they take 3 corners maybe.
Ooh, are the lights going off? That's like that Pat Surtain's so good he turns off the lights.
Yeah, he shuts down everything, including the electricity.
Exactly. Ben Swanson, I think, forgot to pay the bill in reality.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Pat Surtain. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you guys score a prediction?
Ooh, yeah. Let's go. I think the Broncos will score 27 points.
Okay.
And I think the Lions will score 17 points.
17, okay.
27-17.
Okay, the Broncos get a win.
Broncos get a win.
Okay.
By 10 points.
Okay. 27 points.
Yeah. Too many? Not enough for you.
No, I'll say 23.
30?
For the Broncos. No, 23.
Okay.
For the Lions, 10.
Okay, 23-10. Wow, good performance by the defense.
10. I think that an interception or 2 will be the difference. I think the Lions maybe make a mistake down the stretch.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be like 23-10 sounds like a blowout. I don't think that'll be the case.
Yeah.
I think it'll be like
27.
It'll be like kind of close.
17's a lot of points, huh? That's 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah.
I don't see that
maybe
happening.
Yeah.
Because like the Chiefs
Maybe I'll go 27-13. Can I change?
No, I think that you're locked in.
I'm locked
there.
in. Okay.
I think you're locked in. 27-17 for you. I said 23-10.
Okay.
That's what I think. So some bold predictions there. Our predictions this year, how would you describe it?
Well,
how would you describe it?
I've been kind of successful.
Bold.
I've been kind of successful. I think I've had 6 bold predictions be correct. You've had 2.
Really? Is that
according to Ben Swanson?
Okay, well, do we trust that, Ben Swanson?
Well, we just kind of have to take his word for it at some point,
Okay, let's move on to our fourth and final section here. I'm trying to find an email here. Trying to find this email. Ben Swanson sends too many emails.
Too many emails.
Do you have the email from John Jornad?
Oh.
I'm trying to find it here. This is good podcasting.
This is good podcasting. Here we go. I found it.
You found it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our fourth and final section here. This is a section where we have emails and voicemails.
Yeah. Email from John Jornad, a loyal listener.
Okay.
He was disappointed with when the Farmhouse Neutral Zone was posted. Sorry, John. We'll get that up a little bit faster on Tuesday morning.
I was going to say, so just so everybody's clear, Monday night we're live from 6 to 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
So you can catch it on YouTube
live
right away.
The replay is live right away.
Yeah. So if you want to catch that one live or right after on Monday,
Broncos
Tuesday morning,
YouTube page.
then we get it up on Tuesday morning onto iTunes, Spotify.
Exactly.
So he says, I hate to say it, Phil's predictions were much closer than Eric's this week.
Let's just let that breathe for a second. Let it breathe.
Yeah. Put it in the decanter.
Don't jump on my applause.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
He said Jerry Jeudy fell back into his dropping habit that he had last year. I think he needs to go back to whatever he was doing earlier in the season. So there was one that maybe he dropped, but it was good defensive play. I'm not concerned about that with Jerry. It was good to see Teddy at least throw a shoulder at the interceptor, although if he put his arms around him, he might have had a better chance than he would risk his throwing shoulder. At least he tried. An interception like that is because of a good play from the defensive line, not Teddy's fault. What do you think about that? Not Teddy's fault on that one.
There's not much you can do about that situation.
There was some debate about laid out, threw his shoulder into him. I don't expect any more than that from Teddy. He made a physical play. He put his body on the line.
Yeah.
He's not a linebacker.
How do you view tip passes? There is an interesting element there, whether or not, sometimes a quarterback has some, to do with that. Like, for example, we always see Mahomes changing his arm angle, his throwing angle, trying to find those lanes. Can't always control what's happening, though.
No, and the defender got kind of pushed backwards and then jumped up. You hear offensive linemen talk about you want to
hit him,
punch the guy in the stomach so that they drop their arms inadvertently, but it just kind of happened. If it were something that every week Teddy was getting like 2 or 3 passes batted down, you'd be like, this is a concern. That's not what's happening.
Not the case.
And then John finishes up, you were talking QBs and what we should do. I love Surtain, but wish we'd taken Mac Jones. Unless we can get Rodgers, we shouldn't make the Flacco, Osweiler, Plummer mistakes. Jake Plummer let him do an AFC championship.
Plummer was not a mistake.
They obviously were getting rid of them for a reason. Manning was an injury issue, not a lack of skills. So the quarterback from John Jordan, the quarterback debate is one that we'll have, I'm sure, plenty over the course of the offseason. I wouldn't rule out Teddy being back in some capacity, perhaps even as the starter early in the year, but I mean, if you draft a young player,
I agree.
You'd think you'd want a veteran.
You can afford him.
Yeah, well, exactly. So those are. We'll talk more about the quarterbacks as we get on with the season.
Yes, there'll be a lot
with the off season. But thank you for your email, John.
There is something to be said if Teddy Bridgewater comes in here and is able to lead the Broncos to the playoffs. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
there's something to be said about that.
I mean, if you lead a team to the playoffs and you say you get to go on the road and play Baltimore or Tennessee or something like that. Baltimore struggled recently. Tennessee doesn't have Derrick Henry. If you were to win a playoff game, doesn't mean you won't make wholesale changes. But
of course, everybody's going to bring up Tebow, but that's not.
Peyton Manning was available, situation. And if someone of Peyton Manning's caliber is available,
Tebow is a very special kind of quarterback.
I also think it's worth noting that when you acquired Peyton Manning, you didn't give up a bunch of players and picks.
True.
So, people will say, oh, blank player Aaron Rodgers is worth that. Russell Wilson.
Yep.
You'd be giving up a lot. Peyton, I think, when he was he didn't want to be traded, I believe, because he didn't want teams to give up the capital.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Of course, there's so many stories about his recruitment, his free agency. Right. Fun little hiding, throwing with Stokely at a high school.
Right.
Those types of things.
Duke.
Yeah.
You got some voicemails?
Yeah, our friend Tom Magnetti called in this week. The words that came out, positive. The tone,
sad.
Sad.
Tom, we hope you are okay.
Hi, guys, including Ben Swanson. This is Tom Magnetti, hoping to make the cut. But I know it's tough out there. We're getting close to the finals. You have to be selective. Not every voicemail makes it. So I'll keep it short and succinct. We lost the game, but we didn't lose the season. I believe we are going to make the playoffs. Firmly, I believe that. And I look forward to watching it play out. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.
We love you too, Tom.
We love you too.
We love you too, Tom. Positive words. We're going to make the playoffs,
Sad tone.
Sad tone. He even said hello to Ben Swanson.
Yeah, that's how you know he's in a bad spot.
Yeah, he knows that Swanson filters him.
Yeah. So. Here's something that's interesting to me, Phil. Before the season, we talked about, hey, this team is probably going to be in the 8-9, 9-8, 10-7 region.
We said that.
We said that's about where they're going to be around. And that's where they are.
Bold prediction coming true.
Well, but what I mean is that people are freaking out right now, thinking, this team isn't living up to expectations. This team was supposed to make a playoff push. This team is not has not done enough to get to 9-8 or 10-7. They're exactly about where we thought they'd be.
Yep.
They haven't necessarily.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah, there's been a couple of games that you've lost that maybe you should have won, and there's been a couple of games that you won that maybe we thought the Broncos were going to lose. But 6-6 with a chance to get to 7-6 this weekend and have 4 more games after that, where 9-8 certainly very much in play if you go 3-2 down the stretch.
Yep.
10-7 if you go 4-1. I mean, it's very much in play. We talked about before the season, Phil, that final stretch of 3 division games, you might have to win 2 of 3.
Yeah,
we said that at the very beginning of the year, and so the fact that we're talking about it now and people are acting like it's a shock that we're in that place, that to me that's confusing, because it's like no one ever, well, maybe some people did. I never thought this team was going to go 14-3 or 15-2. Like, they were going to lose some games, and that's what's happened, and you're still in it. And so this is what I expected. I expected to be late in the year and talking about how do you get the 6 seed or the 7 seed, or where you would compare to the Chargers, or that's what we expected.
And to be honest, like the games they have lost, like they haven't been like a Lions or something like that. The only time I've thought, oh, that was a disappointment was the Browns.
The Browns and the Eagles was not a great loss either.
That was not a great loss, but sometimes when you run into a team that's playing really high, that's what happens.
Yep.
But the Browns, that's the only one that I've been let down.
Yeah, I agree.
But 6-6, 5 games to go. There's a lot of season left.
A lot of season left.
In previous years here recently, Eric, at this point, it was let's just try and coast here out.
2018 is the last time that they were 6-6 this late in the season. Of course, they lost the last 4.
Yeah.
Hope that doesn't happen here. But they also, that point in the year, they were beat up. They lost some key guys. Yeah. Broncos are about as healthy as you can expect them to be.
Yeah.
So, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
But that happens. For some reason.
Here's another voicemail here. This one from AJ.
Oh.
Hey, good morning. Hope Denver's ready to be 7-6. I mean, Teddy had a bad game. He had a bad game. He outthrew Patrick Mahomes, and they dominated the game. They just made a couple bad plays here and there. It's like, this is why I call up here every single day, because no one still gives this guy credit for anything. Just these last games are going to be crucial in Teddy Bridgewater's career. But yeah, he definitely needed to play better in that game. The defense played good enough to win. He should have played better, and he can play better. That's the thing, though. It's like there's just a couple plays here and there, but he's consistent, and I don't understand why all the hate and like he's not good enough. If you can get Teddy Bridgewater at a good price, right? Sign him for a year, 2, 3 years, good price, and build around him. That's what you do to win championships. Like, this guy is stable.
AJ never says goodbye. It just sort of trails off and it goes away.
Well, normally it's followed by 6 other voicemails, which we appreciate.
That's true. A lot of passion from AJ. Yeah. First of all, he says, "Are you ready to be 7-6?"
I am ready for that.
You're ready for it, right?
He said that Teddy outdueled Patrick Mahomes.
I think he said outthrew.
Oh, okay.
Which is technically correct.
It's technically correct.
Yeah. And he admitted that Teddy needed to play better.
Yeah.
And he said Teddy can play better.
He definitely can. I think that's the big thing here, is that when Teddy has played well, generally the Broncos have at least been in the game. They've won a lot of these games. Like, he was on the money in Dallas, played well, had a pretty nice game against the Chargers. He was not necessarily on. He wasn't on against the Raiders.
No.
The first time, was hurt in Cleveland, and did not have a great game in Kansas City. And those 3 losses in particular, I think, had a lot to do with how he played. If Teddy can play well in 4 of these final 5 games, I like your chances to win them. If Teddy comes out and has more than one bad game, it's going to be tough to win those games. But that's just, in Minnesota in 2015, they needed to win some games at the end of the year. They were 8-5. They went on a 3-game winning streak to end the year. They made it into the playoffs.
Did you ask Teddy about this?
I did. I said,
That's
what's the
what I
key to that at the end of the year? What do you tell the guys?
Mm-hmm.
He said, we got to just play our best football. And he said, we're capable of doing that.
Yeah.
Just got to go do it.
Yeah. He said he was asked about getting the ball to the wide receivers a little bit more. He said you just got to do it within the system.
Yep.
Can't force
Well,
it.
we've seen him, in the preseason, I think. He mentioned, hey, I was trying to force it to Cortland a little bit too much. I was trying to force it to Alberto. That was against the Rams when he didn't have his best game. But
I like forcing the ball.
Teddy's had, I know you do. Teddy's had more good games than bad games. And he doesn't need to be perfect against every opponent, but if he can come out, he doesn't necessarily need to be.
Don't throw pick sixes.
Yes, that's important.
That's number one.
Yeah.
I do agree with AJ. I don't really understand the hatred toward Bridgewater.
No,
I don't really get that.
this team is a lot better than they've been.
Better. Yeah. And Teddy's a big reason why.
Yep.
Eric, let's wrap up the show here with our shout-outs. You got a shout-out to, I think, our friend Liz Gerald.
Liz Gerald, of course, some good community work.
There's been a lot of community going on.
A lot
this
of
week.
community.
First of all, congratulations to Justin Simmons.
Shout out to Justin Simmons.
Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee for the Broncos.
Third year in a row.
Third year in a row.
That's the first time anyone with the Broncos has ever been nominated 3 times in a row.
Cool little video that the Broncos put out. Steve Atwater surprised them.
Great acting from Steve. Shout out to Steve for the acting.
Oh, did Steve know that it wasn't going to? He knew that, huh? Or he?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
He's like, is the remote working?
Yeah.
Is it working? What's going on?
I thought maybe Steve didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should be nominated.
Give him
for
an
something.
Emmy.
Yeah. An Oscar.
Yeah.
Because, I think he.
It's more like a TV short, kind of.
Oh, got it. Yeah. But it could also be documentary.
That's true.
So could win for that. So, congratulations to Justin Simmons. Does a lot of great work. I think his My Cause, My Cleats was the Justin Simmons Foundation.
I believe so.
So he's doing good work, and he highlighted 4 things that he was really proud of at his press availability this week. So it's something that he really cares about.
Yeah, and he's the type of guy you want representing the organization.
Yeah,
both on and off the field.
Been a lot more vocal this year. Justin.
I like
that.
I like it.
The Broncos were also at the Denver Rescue Mission earlier this week, serving some hot meals. Decorating some gingerbread cookies.
Nice.
It is the holiday season.
It's important to celebrate the reason for the season, as they say.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Thanks.
You say that, or
the people say that? They say that.
Yeah. That is true. And then I think also Liz Gerald's was decorating some holiday cards.
Yeah, for kids.
Yeah. Did you do that?
I did.
You did that.
Yeah.
How are your art skills?
They're not great, but it's the thought that counts.
Is it Ben Swanson level or no?
No. Ben Swanson, he's decorating cards. He's
he
got
had
paper
an easel
mache
there. I saw
paper mache.
Paper mache, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a 3D printer. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Liz had all these stickers and markers and everything, and then Swanson showed up with his own supplies.
He's like,
it was
no.
a little bit weird. Yeah, he's like,
I do not use this.
Yeah, he normally doesn't smoke, but he had a cigarette.
Yeah, little beret. It was nice. Nice touch.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
He cut off his ear.
That's an immersive experience.
Yeah, exactly.
He was all in.
Some people are paying for that. We just get it.
We got it. There was that's true. That was nice. So shout out to Liz Geraldson and all the work the Broncos community does.
Of course.
So, Eric, I think it's time to wrap up the show.
I think it is.
If you'd like to be a part of a future episode of the Neutral Zone, 707 Neutral. Leave a voicemail. You could be like AJ, Tom. We'll play it right here on the air.
That's right. Or leave an email at neutralzoneshow@gmail.com. Be like John Jordan.
Like John Jordan, yes. John, coming over to my side a little bit.
A little bit.
You can also hit us up directly on Twitter, at Eric Dalala with an A, at Phil Milani with a PH. Those are non-traditional spellings.
Right, of course.
Or you could just smash subscribe on the YouTube page right here and also comment.
Yep.
We'll be back on Monday live at Breckenridge Brewery's farmhouse.
Trying to make it a farm home.
It's in Littleton off of Santa Fe and Brewery Lane.
That's right.
We'll be there 6 to 7 p.m. Monday. Also live on the Broncos YouTube page. And we're
on the dot.
On the dot.
We will never be
right
late.
at 6 p.m.
Yes.
So we'll be breaking down this Lions game. Until then, for Eric Dalala, I am Phil Milani. You've been listening to
The Neutral
Zone.